Hi, my name is Ilona and today is Monday, January 22nd, 2024, and I want to take a look at America in this video and the energies around Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley. This has to do, of course, with the candidates for the Republican Party for the voting. Obviously, I think it's going to be Mr. T, especially after his historic victory in Iowa, but there is still a primary in New Hampshire, and it's going to be interesting because two people dropped out. Very interesting. Last week, Vivek Ramaswamy dropped out and endorsed Mr. T, and Ron DeSantis dropped out yesterday and started to endorse Mr. T. Mr. T has been very respectful talking about them after they obviously dropped out and endorsed them. So it almost felt like this was part of the plan. And I do believe Storm Rider had a message about this months ago, that this was all planned with Ron DeSantis. And this was all used to gather another group of people that were still, in this trance with the media and all the messages about Mr. T and weren't open for him then. But of course, a lot have happened the past few months, especially what's going on economically. A lot of people see that it was way better with Mr. T, and the entire media is kind of collapsing in a way, and their narrative is collapsing. So it's very interesting to see, and I just wanted to see what the energy was behind Ron DeSantis, and I do believe this is all connected and it's all done this way on purpose. So I just want to see what the card would say about this. Well, first of all, we have the Wheel of Fortune. The second card is the Devil card. That's the central card. The card in the past is the Four of Swords. Underneath the Devil, we have the Ten of Cups. And then for the future, so that will be for Ron DeSantis, is the energy of what's around him is the Lover's card and the Knight of Cups. So that's really, really interesting to see. So I do believe that he's going to bring in more. So he's going to show himself more, especially with the Knight of Cups. He has more to share. I do believe that he will be used, just like Vivek with Mr. T already talked about this, that he was going to use them one way or another for the coming period. And I believe that this is really about showing people how to make decisions from the heart and making decisions what feels right to them. Because I do believe with these cards that his entire, that this was purposely done this way to unite people again. And I think this is almost like a karmic change. This may sound very strange, but the dark energies, the Devil card, have used divide and conquer for so long. That's what they've been doing all this time with the Republicans and the Democrats. It was just divide and conquer. There was always someone on both sides working for them. They always pushed the candidate they wanted. It seemed like people had a choice, but ultimately there was no choice. And especially with Mr. T talking about certain things I will mention when I'm looking at the energy of Nikki Haley, that this is all part of the divide and conquer, of making it seem like there are choices, but there aren't any choices. And I believe that they are now using this with what happened between Ron DeSantis and Mr. T, actually to bring people together, to unite people by using a same technique, divide and conquer, like it seemed like Ron was against Mr. T. And it just used it to bring it together. And I think a lot of people are now going to step behind Mr. T. They've seen much more things now coming out. And I think this is just, this was necessary to bring people out of this trance, out of this hypnotic state that they're in with all the media, all the stories, all the coverage. They've been going after Mr. T for years now, completely bashing him. And there were a lot of people believing that because that's what they were looking at. And now a lot of people, by doing this diversion in a way, they've gotten out of that trance and they most likely will stand behind Mr. T. I do believe that Tuesday will be, or something has to happen, but I really don't think that there's much to do. I'd say they won't be able to stop this and that Mr. T will become the candidate officially for the Republican Party. But this is interesting to see. So I do believe that this was they purposely done it this way to wake people up, to get them out of this state that they're in, so they can make choices. And I believe Ron DeSantis will be used, and he has still things to give, to show people, so they can make choices from the heart. So this is interesting to see. The other thing I wanted to take a look at is Nikki Haley. And this is very interesting as well, because of course she is now, she has to win in New Hampshire. And Mr. T said something about her. It was reported that Nikki Haley's state director in New Hampshire, Tyler Clark, was a lobbyist for the 1630 Fund, which is managed by Arabella Advisors, the largest Democratic dark money network in the country, and considered, well, not a nice person for the public. Arabella Advisors is an organization labeled as a dark money network that funnels billions of dollars to liberal candidates and causes, funded by Eric Kessler, Bill Clinton's cabinet member who headed the US Department of Interior. George Soros disclosed multi-million-dollar donations to the Arabella Advisors network. So Mr. T is mentioning this. That's the exact same thing I wanted to talk about now with Nikki Haley and what I just mentioned, that they put candidates in place on both sides who are both funded by the same money. So it's very interesting that she is apparently funded by the 1630 Fund. And I've never heard of it, but this is a hub of undisclosed political spending. That's why it's called dark money. It's called dark money because there's no source of where it comes from, and there is nothing that shows where they're spending it on. So that's why it's dark money. No one knows where it comes from and where it's actually going. And this is fund administered by Arabella Advisors. And the Arabella Advisors is, like was mentioned, founded by Eric Kessler. And I have looked at the website from the Arabella Advisors, and it's just so... They're always here to change the world. We help change makers create a better world. Arabella Advisors enables clients across the philanthropic sector to tackle society's biggest challenges more efficiently, effectively, and equitably. I hope I pronounced that correctly. That's a lot of blah, blah, blah. And that's usually the case. They always make it seem like they're doing a lot of good. But if you can just look at the fact that it's dark money, it's called dark money on the Wikipedia page, actually. So there's no traces of it. No one really knows what's happening with it. That should scare everyone and should remind everyone they're not here to create a better world. There would be, transparency if that was the case. So this is interesting. Then, of course, I looked at Eric Kessler. Eric is on the boards of the James Beard Foundation, the National Democratic Institute, the 1630 Fund, and also member of the YPO. And I've never heard of that, the YPO. Well, the YPO is formerly known as the Young Presidents Organization, is an American-based worldwide leadership community of chief executives with more than 34,000 global members in more than 142 countries. The influence of an organization like that is massive. And it sounds very much like the World Economic Forum. So, of course, I checked that out and I found a clip on YPO. They apparently have a YouTube channel. Insights from the 2023 World Economic Forum. So the CEO of Habitat for Humanity, Jonathan Redford, sits down with YPO chairman Rafi Demirjian at the World Economic Forum in Davos to discuss the innovative ways his organization is building and funding housing for low-income families. So they're all connected. So this is connected to Nikki Haley. That should tell you something about the energies behind her. But I just wanted to take a look at that as well, just what the cards would come up with. But I thought that was very interesting, and that Mr. T obviously shared this because more and more things are coming out about this. I think I already mentioned she was the ambassador for the United Nations, very interestingly, because in the cards, this is the cards I got. We have the Lover's card, we have, that's the card above. The central card is the High Priestess. In the past, we have the Two of Wands. Underneath the High Priestess, we have the Moon card. And for the future of the energy around Nikki Haley, we have the Judgment card. And we have the Six of Cups. There is the Children's card again. And I do believe that people will know with United Nations that, well, let's say they're not really there to help people or help children. A lot of things are going to come out about that as well. So it's interesting that this is the wake up card, waking up people. And it's connected to the Children's card. So I do think something about her or connected to her is going to come out about that. Or maybe just about the United Nations, just in general, things are going to come out. But she is actually here to show people to make choices from their hearts. But these two cards are cards of confusion. Nothing is what it seems. The moon just shows things, but it's not really showing what's really going on. And the High Priestess can be very secretive, very on the, in the background, very veiled, all these veils and not showing what's truly going on. And I think with Nikki Haley, nothing is what it seems. I think this is all done on purpose and showing what's really been going on, where the money behind her campaign is coming from, the influences she suddenly has or seem to have, with the media. It's very interesting to see. But this is all, nothing is what it seems. The Moon card and the High Priestess, secretive, things happening on the background. It's now being shown. It's being used to show people what is really going on, how things really have been working for so long with the divide and conquer, using people against each other. This is very interesting. So I do think more and more are going to come out about this. And she feels, I don't think she's going to win. I do believe that New Hampshire will be won by Mr. T. But that's just the feeling I have right now. Maybe things still change, but I don't think it's really going to change. And she will be used to open up more things and show what's been going, all the money that's been behind these candidates, behind these campaigns, paying off people, paying off media, it's all coming out. And that's very interesting to see. So I think this is all going to be used to change things, to show people so they can make choices from the heart. Because it's interesting in both card readings that we get the Lover's card. And this is really important, that people are starting to use their heart, their discernment, and not just follow on what they can see, because nothing is what it seems. There's a lot of secrecy, a lot of things going on, a lot of confusion, and then it's important to remain true to yourself, connect with your intuition and follow that. Follow your heart, follow your soul, connection with God. It's so important, and make your choices from the heart. So that's what I've got. Hope to see you in another video. Bye.